From the east, house of light, may wisdom dawn in us, so we may see all things in clarity. From the north, house of night, may wisdom ripen in us, so we may know all from within. From the west, house of transformation, may wisdom be transformed into right action, so we may do what must be done. From the south, house of the eternal sun, may right action reap the harvest, so we may enjoy the fruits of planetary being. From above, house of heaven, where star people and ancestors gather, may their blessings come to us now. From below, house of earth, may the heartbeat of her crystal core bless us with harmonies to end all war. From the center, galactic source, which is everywhere at once, may everything be known as the light of mutual love. Yum Hunab Ku Eva Maya E Ma Ho. Yum Hunab Ku Eva Maya E Ma Ho. Yum Hunab Ku Eva Maya E Ma Ho. All hail the harmony of mind and nature.
So welcome everybody to Viada's Tiny House Village. This is Soul Purpose Healing on Sunday night. I am so very grateful to have rain in Florida right now. We've had so much rain and it has cooled us off quite a bit. But yesterday I did get to spend some time in the sun and the trees and in the park. So I'm grateful. So welcome. Tonight is all about high blood pressure, low blood pressure. Let's just get to the root of it. Because I had a beautiful conversation, a beautiful therapy session actually yesterday with a young man, I think he's in his 40s, about a health issue that didn't really have anything to do with high blood pressure at first. But I do give a free 15-minute consultation, and then I ask for a donation. And if anyone is interested in partnering with me to solve the problem on a deeper level, I will assist you in a 6-week program. But that's why we're talking about high blood pressure, because of the conversation I had yesterday with a potential client who was looking for help for a bulging disc in his back. So let's talk about that. And remember, I am in the court of the cosmic universe of all time, the court where I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So, trigger warning, you're about to get the truth. Let's do it.
Kabos enlis ora corona kokrakos kodo enha na kukabora enha na kukabuch enha anuki madress with man ushalao the bamboo magical type of yow. The cooks are hapa a kan papa r. Benenza put the cook another sa or. Who's the get a limit to order a zempa haka kept a patarak a dirka hen. Tashia wish you up a sound one.
So come on in. We're dancing, having fun in the tiny house. And we are smiling and enjoying peace. Peace is the key. Guard your peace at all times. I've been listening to a lot of advice on YouTube, and one of the things keeps coming through is guard your peace. So that's what we're going to do tonight for you. We're going to guard your peace, guard your shalom, because it's too much chaos out there, too many distractions. Every time I open up my phone in the morning, I get news items that I didn't ask for. I don't know. I can't get rid of this app for some. They pop up even when I took the app off. I got to figure out a way to get it out of my phone. News items about people I have no interest in. So guarding my peace is an all-day thing from the beginning. Breathing in deeply, breathing in deeply, breathing in deeply. So as I said earlier, I had a very interesting conversation with a young man yesterday that motivated me to do this topic today on blood pressure. Trigger warning, trigger warning. We're going to tell the truth today. And I'm going to dig into the book of Revelations, because for those of you who are new here, I have been swimming in the gospel of Jesus since birth. I mean, 1955. My grandfather was a pastor of a Church of God in Christ since the time I was born, and I spent lots of time in his church in Southern Illinois, back and forth between Chicago, Southern Illinois, hearing the gospel of Jesus Christ in the Church of God in Christ. So I was a Bible student most of my life. Now the Bible is in me. I'm telling you, when somebody mentions a scripture, it's not one I've never heard. I've heard them all. And the Messiah, the Christ, is in here. I have the mind of Christ. So I'm coming to you today from 71 years of walking in the Bible, being the Bible, and demonstrating the love of Christ for the rest of my life. It's going to be the love of Christ up here. The mind of Christ is here. So I want to start out when I was talking to this young man in his 40s yesterday. He was looking for advice about a bulging disc in his back that was causing pain. That's going to cause you some pain. So I always ask in the 15-minute consultation I do in the beginning, what's your lifestyle like? What do you do for a living? Do you get any exercises? Well, one of the things that came up was that he was on blood pressure medication. Okay. I asked, well, do you know the side effects of that blood pressure medication? Answer was no. Okay. Then he shared that he's on 2 blood pressure medications. Why are you on 2 blood pressure medications? Because the first one didn't work. And so that's typically what happens when you go to your doctor, because your blood pressure, and your blood pressure, you may not even know it's high. But when you get there, you say, well, I just haven't been feeling well. Let's take your blood pressure. Well, your blood pressure is really high. Let's do something about that. Oh, what should we do? Let's have a conversation and let me release some things from my emotions. No, let's just give you a pill. That'll work. And then 6 months later, your blood pressure is still high. So typically doctors will say, well, we got another pill for you. You keep taking that same one, and we got another one that's going to help you. Well, let me tell you, this type of experience started with this man here. This is my dad, Sherman J. Howard. He's lived to be 95 years old. And this is actually a younger picture of him. Now, he was on blood pressure medication as well. Most of my life, I knew him. Except his later years, he got off the blood pressure because he started studying more about herbs and lifestyle changes and all that. But he had blood pressure problems for a long time, so he was on blood pressure medication. Now, typically, the history of someone who has blood pressure, according to Louise Hay, long-standing emotional problems not solved. Let me say that again. From Louise Hay, a metaphysical perspective, not physical, because we can talk about the physical all day. In fact, I have a caller who's called in. He's going to share his experience with blood pressure and what he did to lower it and change it. But typically, long-standing emotional problems this man had. My dad, born in Jim Crow South, pressure as a young Black boy, no shoes, there were hardly any food, and then playing in the NFL as the one of two Black players in an all-white league. Lots of emotional stuff came up. I wrote about it in his book, which you can get a copy of. And throughout his life, 3 wives, and he's a Sagittarius. If you don't know anything about Sagittarius, they're usually very intellectual and they don't talk about their feelings. That's what I learned from my dad, okay? So he was on blood pressure medication. So one of the things that I have learned as a student of the Bible is that there's usually a clue in there about your sickness, your illness, something that you're going through. And I couldn't help but think about when I spoke to this young man yesterday about a bulging disc that turned into a conversation about 2 blood pressure medications. This is the scripture that comes to mind. So if you're a Christian, a Bible student, this may or may not be familiar to you. Book of Revelations is a prophetic book. It's a people even who don't even read the Bible, who know a little bit about the Bible, who were in Christianity for a little bit, they know Revelations. Book of Revelations is a modern day wisdom knowledge book, okay? So in Book of Revelations, chapter 18, I encourage all of you, if you have a Bible, to check it out because it's powerful for 2026. We're going to bring this chapter up to modern day understanding. Because again, this is about the spiritual root to high and low blood pressure challenges. Because I don't want to see any more brothers getting on big pharma's medication. If we can avoid it, let's try it. So this chapter, Revelations 18, is really about Babylon, corruption, and the collapse of the global economy. Now, who can't relate to that in 2026? Babylon is usually like the Matrix, the worldly. Babylon would be Hollywood today. Anything that looks kind of offish, morals-wise, corruption. We see it all the time on the internet. And then the collapse of the global economy. We're seeing that a lot today with rent going up and all these things that are stressing us out, right? So that's what Revelations 18 is about. And it gives you lots of solutions in chapter 18. But we're going to focus on the 2 end verses to align with our subject, spiritual root of these blood pressure challenges. Now, if you read the first part of Revelations 18, this verse might be familiar to you. And it reads, "Come out of her, my people, lest you share in her sins and receive her plagues." Okay. Now, what plagues might they be talking about? If you were to digest the first few verses of this chapter, what plagues and sins might that relate to in 2026? I would say we could go back to 2021. When the sins of the corporations, the government decided, well, there's a virus out there and we're going to demand, in fact, enforce that you take a shot for this virus. Now, in my mind, the sin is that you're out of alignment with the Creator's free will, let people make decisions on their own. But some of us were mandated to do something against our will. That could be the sin of 2021. And then the plague that follows after that type of sin. Well, a lot of people have heart problems. A lot of people are dead. A lot of people are sick with cancer. And they're coming out more and more today showing us the root cause was that activity in 2021 mandating a shot for something that didn't really exist. So that's the beginning of chapter 18. But the key part of this chapter that I want to point out in terms of blood pressure is this. Let me get back to my banner. Okay, is this. When you start in verse 22, It reads like this: the sound of harpists, musicians, flutists, trumpeters shall not be heard in you anymore. And I think, in my opinion, as a Bible student, walker, any more heard in you, that's talking about, to me, the symphony of music inside of you. They're saying in this whole chapter about how the sins of the people, the corporation, the government, the plagues, the cancer, there is no harmony inside of you. He's talking about music. They're talking about music, harpists, music, trumpeters. That's it be heard in you, it says anymore. No craftsman of any craft shall be found in you anymore. How about talking about creativity? People have lost their creativity. The perceived problem is like, I have to go see a man in a white coat. The perceived problem is I need somebody to fix it for me, or the perceived problem is I'm going to blame everybody else for it. So the craftsman of any craft shall be found in you anymore, and the sound of a millstone should not be hurting you anymore. So the key verse is verse 23. The light of a lamp shall not shine in you anymore, for your merchants were the great men of the earth, for by your sorcery were they all deceived. Sorcery, which in that word in the Greek, it's in the Hebrew, it's pharmakia, pharmacy. All the nations were deceived. This is a key verse for anyone wanting their pharmakia, their blood pressure. Okay, so we start there because there's so much wisdom in that verse that you can't deny it. The lack of harmony inside this temple is, a lot of it is attributed to, in that verse, the dependence on pharmakia. Because what happens when we have imbalance in our body? We want to run to the hospital or the doctor, right? And then the doctor tells you that you have a pill problem. Most of them, you need a pill. I've rarely been to a doctor that didn't say, let's talk about your relationships. How's your marriage going? So typically, people who have high blood pressure, in fact, I can give you my ex-husband who went to Vietnam. And I would say for almost 40 years of marriage, there was no talk about feelings. Talking about your feelings helps release that pressure valve of high blood pressure and helps your blood pressure calm down. Because the reality of blood pressure, whether it's high or low, is it fluctuates all day long. When I had a trip this year to the hospital because my blood pressure went up, and I realized that I was allergic to something that I was drinking, I found out, that caused my blood pressure to go up. And I went to the emergency room. By the time I got there, it was back down to normal because I had already taken a herbal substance that calmed me down. But they wanted to do all these tests anyway. But my blood pressure in the hospital was normal, but yet the tests were showing everything else was normal too. But when we go to a doctor, hospital, they want to get all the tests done they can because they need to make the money. That's what they did. They're in business. They didn't want me to just feel better and go home and rest. They wanted to make some money. So that's what we have in a sick care system. So when you have high blood pressure at this point in the game, it's worth it to think about Revelations 18:23. In fact, what are the feelings that you're not expressing? What is the anger that you're not expressing? The next person now my ex-husband took blood pressure medication the whole time we were married. We're talking about almost 40 years. And every time he went back to the doctor, even though his weight was going up and all this, it was always another pill. You need another pill. And I was like, did they ask you any other question? Nope. I trust my doctor completely. So that's his business now. I'm free of that that type of relationship where I'm seeing things that just don't seem right. And then the second person, there's another person in my family who this to this very day in their 40s, they had a stressful situation where they ran to the doctor and the doctor said your blood pressure is really high, and never mind the crappy diet they were on. We're going to talk about that with our guest tonight. The crappy diet they were on and the stress of being in college and all that. Oh, you need a pill. So they wrote him a prescription for a pill, and then 20 years later they're still taking the pill, and guess what? A trip to the doctor in the last, I'd say 6 months, they realized your blood pressure is still too high. We got another pill for you. Okay. Deception, more deception. And the Revelations 18:23 is so real today in so many people that it just blows my mind that doctors today are still pulling that mess. The sick care system is all about business. The more pill. And then the young man who I was talking to the other day, he said, well, he asked his doctor about getting off the blood pressure med. Oh, no, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. That's risky. So then there's always the fear element. The music is gone. The fear comes in. There's no harmony in here that says, I'm going to get off this medication. In fact, when you're going into the sick care system on a regular basis, the words you have deficiency, you're disabled, you have this dis-ease are going to always be coming out of their mouth so they can keep you hooked in the system. So that energy of there's something wrong with you versus I am well, I am healed, I am powerful, I am strong. The words that change the chemistry in this temple, in the mind, you don't hear that. So it's very risky to go into the sick care system trying to solve any health issues you have, especially blood pressure. Now, low blood pressure, let me just mention that real quick, and then I'm going to give the mic to my guest. Low blood pressure, which I have struggled with most of my life. Where'd it go? Low blood pressure is lack of love as a child. Defeatism. What's the use? It won't work anyway. Now, the first one definitely applied to me. There was a time in my childhood where my dad had divorced my mother. So I was feeling a lack of love there, kind of a rejection, an abandonment, a sadness. And then my mother turned to alcohol. And so there was no hugging in my youth by my mother. And when I did see my dad, he was always very loving and supportive, but no hugging from mom. She was too sad and in a state of mind that said, nobody loves me. So I had to watch that for many, many years. That was very sad and part of my childhood. So guess what? I found it in men, like many of us do. When you're in a lack of love and child, and then my blood pressure was always low. Most of my life, my blood pressure was low. These days, I'm so full of self-love. I don't have low blood pressure anymore. My blood pressure stays normal, and I check it now and then. And that's how I know it fluctuates all day long. When I first came home from the hospital, I was checking my blood pressure like 2 or 3 times a day just to make sure it was okay. And I realized that blood pressure is going up and down, up and down. If I'm running outside or if I'm going to the store or if I'm doing exercise, the blood pressure doesn't stay the same. So it's up to us, individual human beings, sojourners, to realize the difference between your eternal reality, which is your soul, and your temporary reality, which is this vessel, this body. And so when we can balance the two, your soul, eternal existence that's real, with your body existence, physical, material, when you can balance those two, you're not going to have blood pressure problems. But too many of us have no consciousness of the soul journey. That's why we break down when death comes. we fall apart when transition comes, because we are not in a conscious mode of soul eternal journey versus this is it, this body is all I got, and I'm gonna work it out till it falls apart, and if anything happens I'm gonna go to the doctor and get more pills. Now, does that sound insane to anybody but me? But that's where we are. That's the reality. And so even the people in my life who are depending on their drugs from the sick care system, that in Revelations, let me just bring that up one more time. That's called deception. And so one of the reasons your blood pressure is up, you're deceived. If you think 2 medications is going to keep your blood pressure down, and then here's the other part of it, brothers and sisters. Trigger warning, trigger warning. You're creating more side effects, more side effects. The fact that somebody has a bulging disc and they might have other problems in their back, it's all side effects. If you're taking just two pharmaceutical drugs, guess what? You got 2 side effects, a list of 2 side effects that you're dealing with. Wake up time, wake up time. Let's come out of that deception and move into a reality of wisdom about soul journey versus temporary journey of the physical body. Because your deception is causing high blood pressure as well. That's the key right now. That's what Spirit woke me up this morning, showing me that even though people are thinking they're helping themselves by going to the sick care system to get some pills, the deception itself is causing an imbalance in here. That this is going to help me when my soul is trying to say, how about just having some meditation instead of medicating? So that's the first part of our teaching on spiritual root to blood pressure. And I've got my guest caller on the line. L.A. Davis is with us tonight to share. He's had a couple of journeys with high blood pressure, and I wanted him to just share what his solutions were in this journey. And if you have had blood pressure problems, what are your solutions? Don't be afraid. I won't judge you if you're taking medicine, because that's a part of the process. Okay. The process usually goes, I don't feel well, I need to go to the doctor. And then when you've been to the doctor enough times and they say, well, you're still not well, I'm gonna give you another pill, that's a process too. Are you waking up yet? So L.A. Davis, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Glad you didn't fall asleep. So, LA, tell us about your blood pressure challenges that you've had. First of all, tell everybody how old you are, because that's important.
69.
69 years old. That's a young man, really, in terms of my dad, who lived to be 95. You got a few years to go. So please share with us your blood pressure challenges and how you solved them.
Well, first thing that people need to look at, this is probably never talked about, is you have to look at your body. If you ask a doctor, nurse, or somebody, what are normal numbers? Well, there's a I'm not going to say deception, but
yeah, go ahead, say it.
Something that people for right now.
Yeah.
I'm 6'8".
You're 6 what?
6'8". 6'8" inches.
6'8" inches.
That has the highest blood pressure. The mammal on planet Earth that has the highest blood pressure, that has no heart problems, is the giraffe. 18 feet tall. Okay. So my blood pressure, which would be normal and healthy for me, is not going to be the same for a person that's 5'8".
Absolutely.
So we need to find out what is the normal blood pressure for a person with your particular height and then weight.
Yes.
That's the first thing.
Yes.
Now,
I agree.
I had high blood pressure, but as compared to somebody that's not my height, I mean, I'm taller than 99% of the population. All right. So, however, they prescribed some pills for me, and I read the possible side effects. And one of those possible side effects was, in rare cases, could cause death.
Now hold on a minute. You'd be surprised how many people will read that and say, "Oh well, I'll just take the risk if it could cause death." It's like,
no, I don't want to take that risk.
Okay.
So, but now I was talking to a friend of mine because I was kind of down about it. So she said, "Did I take magnesium?" And at the time I didn't. So I went to a chiropractor on another matter. And he told me I wasn't drinking enough water. So with the combination of water, and that's another thing, how much in fluids, not coffee or alcohol, which are diuretics, how much fluid, like for me, it's at least 4 liters a day on a normal day. So when I drank 4 liters of water, not straight, but over a 24-hour period of time, and then took the magnesium, my blood pressure went back to normal for even people that are shorter than me. So that's how. And my mother, as I told you earlier, the doctor, her primary physician, told her to go to the emergency room. She refused to go because she was a nurse, and you can't tell nurses what to do. So I went to the health food store and got her some garlic pills, and I already had some magnesium at the house. So I made sure she took the garlic pills, or you can do straight garlic, and water every day. And then she went back to her physician on day 7 or 8, and her blood pressure went back to normal.
Now,
without ever going to the emergency room.
Now, what are your numbers? Do you know typically what your like? My numbers range now from anywhere from 119, 120, 121 over 80 or 90, which the older you get, the higher the blood pressure usually is. But typically, they've been saying 120 over 80 is a good number for your blood pressure reading. Now I'm like, man, I don't know about all that, because it really depends on your consciousness of your soul journey. And like you said, if you're a nurse, if you've been a nurse, nurses are, you're right, don't want to go to the doctor. But what are your numbers typically?
I don't check my BP numbers. I haven't checked them in quite a while. The only number that I check, and this is a very important number, is your weight. All right, so I bounce between 190 to 195 pounds. I can have which is a healthy weight for my height, but I can be as high as 227 pounds and have a normal weight. 230 pounds, I'm overweight. So a few years ago, a guy, well, you know him, Charles Tower. The guy was 12 years younger than me, but he probably had a good 50, 60, 70 pounds on me. He died of a stroke. So I stopped eating fried chicken then. And I dropped 55 pounds and I've kept 50 of them off. So that's not, because the more weight you have, your blood pressure is going to go higher because the heart has to work more. Okay,
but that also depends on your bone structure, because I have thinner bones, smaller bones, and my weight, a good weight for me is 140 pounds. I'm a little below that right now, but a good weight for me is 140 pounds. Now, my sister, who has thicker bones, she's a little shorter than I am. Her weight is not 140 for sure, but she's probably closer to 150, 80, maybe. I don't know at this point. But she's a little overweight, but she's still, her bone structure is thick. So I think it has a lot to do your weight now with your. Now, what about your heart rate? Do you ever think about your heart? Because they usually give you your heart rate with your blood pressure.
No, a couple of times I thought I was having a heart attack, but that's because I was dehydrated.
Right.
So, and I do everything I can, which is real simple, just drink water, walk 20, 30 minutes a day, lift some weights, and then for me, keep that weight down. And then I take chelated magnesium practically every day.
So chelate magnesium and vitamin D have been shown to be deficient in men who take blood pressure medications. Now, I've seen this in more than one individual. One particular person, they had blood tests run, their blood pressure, they were already on one blood pressure medication. They had all these blood tests run because they were having more symptoms in their body. And the only sign the doctors gave them that something was off was low vitamin D. So they started taking vitamin D, and I think they improved, but then other things started. The blood pressure still wasn't coming down as much, so that's when another blood pressure medication was prescribed. Oh, heaven help us, heaven help us, because then you're going to have more side effects. So as the scripture tells us, they were deceived, and the light, there's one line in here that says the light of candle shines no more in you. Where is the light coming from, brothers and sisters? When this scripture talks about the light is shining no more in you because you're deceived, that light is coming from your breath. Your breath, which is consciousness about your life source. If you are doing deep breathing, which we talk about on this channel all the time, Friday especially, we do deep breathing in the morning, and we're doing deep breathing tonight. Your breath is the light. So I want to suggest to those of you who are on medication that you're not doing deep breathing enough, and to get on, you're on that medication because you have not been taking in more oxygen, which is in nature. And so your vitamin D levels are low because why? You're not out in the sun a lot. And your magnesium levels are low because you're not eating enough dark green vegetables. Dark green vegetables have the magnesium in them. Now, if you're eating foods that have been sprayed with pesticides, grown in weak soil, you're not going to get enough magnesium. But better if you are getting magnesium from organic dark green vegetables. The darker the green, the more magnesium that is found in those foods. But even if you're doing that, the magnesium, you're eating a lot of greens, you're getting more sun. If you're in a depressed state of mind, you're not breathing, you're not doing exercise, your blood pressure could go up because it is responding to your consciousness. It's whether you're living in harmony with nature. Are you living in harmony with the music, the trumpets, as this scripture points out? Are you listening to the vibrations of high hertz music? That's what your blood pressure is responding to. Your music inside, that whether you have homeostasis, everything is synchronized, symphony playing in here, everything's digesting well, you don't have a lot of parasites. That's another whole nother one. If you have never done a parasite cleanse in your life, guess what? You got parasites. Especially if you've had pets, you've got parasites. It's just part of nature. And I've had a guest on here, Carrie, her name is, I have to have her back. She's an expert in this field of parasite infestation. And that's another thing that could be contributing to your blood pressure fluctuating, because the more you are feeding those parasites sugary foods and processed foods, alcohol, antibiotics, the parasites are having a party in there. That's just a reality. Please do your homework. Don't believe a word I say. Do your own homework, because that's when you'll be convinced. And so whatever symptoms that you're having, even the young man, I don't know if he's listening, even the bulging disc might be helped by doing a parasite cleanse, because a bulging disc in the back is an interruption in the communication in that part of the spine. Your spinal cord has nerve veins going through, nerve cells going through every part of your spinal cord. And if one particular area is inflamed, it's not just physical. It's not just that you might be sitting too much, which is also a mind thing, because if you're sitting a lot and you're not stretching this vessel, harmony, you're out of harmony with the vessel. This vessel needs to be moving and stretching all the time, every day. Every day, I want to encourage you to make it your business to stretch your body. Join me on Friday mornings where we stretch the joints. We stretch the neck first. We stretch the shoulders. We stretch the elbows. We stretch every joint in this temple. And then we go out. I go out and walk every other day. And then I do yoga every day. And believe me, I have very few inflammation in this temple, because if it's not a birthday where I'm testing out the chocolate cake, then I'm not feeling any pain, because I'm just more disciplined at this stage of my life. I don't like pain. I don't like inflammation. So I know what it takes to be pain free. So let us do a little bit of breathing right now, because this is really key to help with your blood pressure. And I can't emphasize it enough that when you have this imbalance, disruption of energy in your body, it's probably because you're not breathing enough, deep breathing enough. I mean, taking in the breath and holding it and then letting it go, not just once in a while. Listen, if you have been diagnosed, if you have been programmed by a sick care physician that you have a problem in your body, that's part of the problem, actually. Listening to those words and then following through on a drug to try and solve their problem, it's not going to work. You're going to have more drugs administered and more. So you have to take charge. How do you take charge? You bring peace to this body, because the blood pressure problem is telling you you haven't had peace within. You're not peaceful within. If you're depending on alcohol or any sex, anything you're addicted to, you don't have peace within, because those things are used these days to treat your discomfort, your pain. So meditation and breath work, outside in nature, hugging trees, barefoot walking, that will help bring balance to your blood pressure. And especially with low blood pressure, as it said, not getting love as a child, I've overcome that. I see my mother with so much love now, because I don't know what she went through as a child. And that's really why many of you are not expressing your feelings, which is creating the blood pressure issue. If you don't express those feelings some way, somehow, whether it's in prayer, privately, or in therapy, or with a friend, your blood pressure is going to be struggling to express itself. In fact, I would suggest even that blood pressure is just an expression of what's going on inside. The next time you're at your doctor's office, they take your blood pressure and they say, oh, it's a little high. You say, well, I think it's expressing the argument I just had with my wife. Or I think it's expressing the stress I just had at work, where I'm not getting everything done that I want to get done. Or I think my blood pressure may be expressing my lack of exercise. I haven't been moving at all. I've been sitting around drinking beers and watching TV and Netflix. It's an expression of the body talk. I think LA and I were talking about this earlier, that people need to know and learn how to listen to this temple. It's always talking, always talking. And the loudest voice is inflammation. Inflammation. Somebody in my life, in my family, has muscle spasms. And that to me is like, ooh. And if you've had the jab, could be a side effect. So I'm just saying, you've got to change your thinking first. You're thinking that, oh, I better run to the doctor and get a pharmacia pill so I can have more side effects. Do we see the logic, the illogic in this, and why we are struggling? Why there's no more light in us, as Revelation said, because we have been dependent and deceived big time, big time. And they got a new vaccine. Oops, they got a new V coming out for cancer now. Heaven help you if you fall for that one. Because I wrote a book about how to prevent cancer. And let me just put that banner up right now. If you are struggling with how a cancer and you think you need a jab, let me just show you. You can get let me see, where is that? You can get a copy of my book, From Fear to Faith and the Master Design, which will help you prevent the diseases. And the prevention is better than the cure. They don't want you to have a cure in the sick care system. Prevention is better than the cure. If you wait until you get the disease, which is the MO of the sick care system, we can just give you another pill, and then, oh, I have cancer. In fact, if you have a colonoscopy, it's meant to detect a disease, not prevent it. So they want you to come in and they want to detect a disease so they can make more money. It's a business. So stop funding that business is what I'm suggesting. This book, Faith in the Master Design, is $8. And if you send me $8 to my Cash App, I'll send it to you in your email right away. And then you'll know how to prevent it. Even if you're on medication, this book will help you develop emotional intelligence, because that's really what's feeding disease, is your lack of ability to respond to life's challenges, life's transitions, life's pains, discomforts with peace, with knowledge, with love, with compassion. So let us just do some meditation from this song that I love called Peace Within. And that's the key to destroying problems with your blood pressure, to solving blood pressure problems, is finding peace within by any means, whether it's going to a park, walking, sitting in, watching birds sing, whatever. I had so much stress helping the disabled veteran empty a storage into a cluttered hoarder house. I had to go to the park and just sit there and watch birds on the water. And that's how I found peace. Is that the sadness of having someone so addicted. By the way, she had blood pressure problems too, this military veteran, and on probably 10 medications. This woman reached 18 years in the Air Force, a female. You can be sure she was there was SA, sexual assault, because that's what happens to 99% of women who go in the military. And this woman was my age, actually, smoking, she said she had diabetes and blood pressure, high blood pressure, and she was on probably at least 10 medications. So that is really about side effects. The more pills you're taking, the more you can expect effects of all those pills, which is more discomfort, more inflammation, more constriction, more pain in the body. The key is peace within with breath work. So let us listen to this beautiful music for a minute. Imagine you are on this beach or in Tahiti. Let's just say you're in Tahiti. And that's where you need to go to reduce your blood pressure, is find your peaceful place. And this video I love because it just brings peace. It's a blood pressure lowering song and video. So let's just go there for a minute and do some deep breathing together.
No more chasing was never mine. No more racing just to beat time. I found a rhythm I can call my own. A quiet drum carved in bone. Peace within, that's where I begin. No need to prove, no need to win. In every breath, I learn again to live, to love, to just remain. I sat with shadows, made them friends, let go of battles that never end. Now I walk softer, speak with care, leave space for joy in the open air. Peace ain't loud, it don't demand. It lives in stillness, it holds your hand. It shows up slow like ocean tide, but once it comes, it stays inside. Peace within, that's where I begin. No need to prove, no need to win. In every breath, I learn again to live, to love, to just remain. So if you hear this song and feel alone, remember peace will guide you home. It's not out there,
In your skin.
it's in your skin. You're not lost, you're just within. Peace within, that's where I begin. No need to prove, no need to win. In every breath, I learn again to live, to love, to just remain.
So I want to encourage you to find your peaceful place every day, every way, every week, and let go of all those feelings that you're holding on and talk to someone about the things you've suppressed in your life, the feelings that the anger. When my significant partner who left last year had a lot of anger that I had to respond, learn how to respond to it. First, I was reacting to it when we were first together, and I was like, I don't want to be with this person. But Spirit told me I needed to learn how to respond to that type of emotional anger because he was a good person, very good person. We had a lot of fun playing Scrabble and chess and traveling to Cuba, but he could have an anger outburst that came out of nowhere. And he had been to some therapy, but it stemmed from a childhood where his parents gave him away. There was rejection, abandonment, a childhood where he was raised by an abusive, I mean, really a physically abusive woman and her husband. And then a wife who died from cancer, a divorce, all these things. And if men don't express the feelings behind all those circumstances, guess what? It shows up in a relationship. And you're going to be tested if you're in that relationship on how to respond to that person. So I got let's see, Mama AZ has called in. So Mama AZ, let me see. Mama AZ, your mic is open.
Grand evening.
Yes.
Can you hear me, Dr. V?
Yes, it is evening. Go ahead.
Yes. Dr. V, everyone that we have been married to, it's not an ex.
Okay.
There's a reason. All right. But I just love you, Dr. V. What I wanted to say is things are changing so rapidly, and we must learn as much as we can about the other person that we may have been connected to, because there's a reason for everything. We must learn patience. I'm learning, even with my roommate, Miss Cynthia. I'm learning, and she's learning, and I just give thanks that I have been placed in this vortex at the Haven Health University, because I am learning how to respect as much as I can the other person's quirks or goodnesses, because if they are having an issue like the elder that you help to move, that's telling you something too, Dr. V, that you must work on. And that is why you even agreed to be with her for as long as you are. I mean, as long as you did. The universe kind of set you up to go to boot camp in some form or the other. And when something bothers me like that, I have to breathe. I'm getting better and better every day in every way, and say, okay, Creator, what's up? You show me. I'm willing to listen. And sometimes, family, we have to distance ourselves from people who give us drama, who do not understand us, and be by yourself to learn how to understand and overstand yourself. And that's my word for this evening.
And you're right about the father of my two sons. I'd rather have it that way. We are soul partners. We are soulmates, because you don't come together with another human being and produce two souls into this earth without being soulmates. But you don't stay. What I'm learning is you don't stay with every soulmate that comes into your life. That's why he's still in my life, but we have a divorce agreement. Thank goodness. And he's still in my life as a soulmate. Huh?
He's still your husband.
And
according, even if you had 50, I don't care what men in their laws that mankind has made up. They're freaking idiots. You know?
Yeah, but see, here's the thing: when the Creator allows you to separate from someone, that breaks the contract, in my mind. And yes, and I'm saying we're still soulmates. But I'm not going to call him my husband. Sorry, he can be a soulmate. He's still a soulmate.
Yeah,
but I'm not calling him my husband. Because, in fact, I don't plan to call any man in the future my husband. I'm only looking for spiritual partnerships, and if they want to join me, I'm not doing. I'm not in the husband-wife business anymore. That's man's traditional stuff.
Find another word to put in place, please. But that's just my opinion.
Yes.
I don't know every doggone thing.
Yes, I agree.
As far as X is concerned, I don't know everything,
Well, I
But I do
understand where
know.
you're coming from, though, because once you, even biblically, once you commemorate or have sex with a man, you're married. That's considered marriage in the Bible. Once you join spiritually, physically with a man, you're married. That's your husband, whether the state says it or
Oh,
not. So yeah,
oh,
we
they're
have
not
lots of
teaching.
husbands.
Oh, they're not teaching that in the pulpit, in the church. Did you hear what Dr. E just said, y'all? Wake up and
Yep.
smell the coffee.
Yep.
Thank us.
So then it
I'm gonna
becomes
sign off.
like I believe like Esther in the book of Esther, she was being prepared for a king. Even though he had a queen before, he threw her out, and they said gather all the virgins, and they had to go through 12 months, I think, of purification. I'm in purification right now. I haven't had sex relations for over a year now. I think it's been 2 years. And so I'm in purification mode waiting for my king. And so for those of you who want a partner, just get into Esther mode. She's called Hadassah in the Bible, and start using myrrh and frankincense and purifying yourself and telling the universe that you're being prepared for a king, because you don't want an average person anymore. I don't. I'm waiting for the king. So we've got a question here. And I'm waiting for them to answer me because I don't know what EDMR. Lovely Thomas says, does EDMR help with releasing of emotional trauma or unresolved pain and help with lowering blood pressure? Does anybody know what EDMR is? Can you tell me, Lovely Thomas, what EDMR? Maybe we can Google it. Because I think anything, when you become conscious that there's a better way. Let me see. When you become conscious that there's a better way to manage this body, to balance this body, then that's the beginning of lowering your blood pressure. Let's see. Let's ask, what is EDMR? I've never heard of that. MR. Oh, it's EMDR, I think. It says EMDR therapy, maybe. Eye movement desensitization is a structured evidence-based psychotherapy designed to help individuals heal from the trauma and distress caused by disturbing life events. It uses guided bilateral stimulation, like side-to-side eye movements, auditory tones, or physical tapping to help the brain safely reprocess and integrate traumatic memories. Absolutely. It's EMDR is what did I do? Yeah. And so, yes, rather than focusing solely on talking through past events, EMDR incorporates elements of cognitive behavioral therapy with rhythmic stimulation. So, yes, because traumatic events get stuck in here, whether it's the death or the transition of someone, they get stuck in the cells in the subconscious. And so the answer to that is absolutely. Because that's actually part of some EFT therapies will include that in the tappings. I don't know, are you doing using EFT? Because that's part of it. There's a pattern of tapping where you let go of frustration, you let go of the negative energy and emotions, and then you pause and you do that EMDR with eye movements, go round and round and round, and then you go this way and that way. There's actually a formal name for that process. And yes, because it's rewiring your brain and your physical energy. Thank you, Lovely Thomas. There's so many ways to balance your body other than big pharma pills. I'm just saying, I'm not a doctor. In fact, I didn't do my disclaimer, but I'm not. If you have any health problems that you have not been able to resolve, please see your trusted health professional. I don't have an MD after my name. I have a Eved Yah after my name. That's servant of Yah. Eved Yah is Hebrew for servant of Yah. So when every night, every morning, I have conversations with myself, basically, and my angels, my messengers. I have a collage of all my ancestors. We talk all the time. And then I get messages from cardinals. I had a cardinal today. They show up every day now. It's really interesting. Cardinals show up every day. And then when unusual animals like cats who reminded me to go within, go within. I am so blessed to have a close relationship with the Most High through nature. And that's what I hope all of you will develop. Develop your relationship with yourself, the kingdom within, by developing a relationship with nature, going outside more, with the sun. Everything in nature nourishes you. That's how my friend Elitam Elamim can walk around this planet. He's in, I think he's in Africa. I don't know if he's in Miami last week. He's in somewhere else with no drinking and eating, no eating or drinking, because his emotional intelligence is calm and high, and he has learned to commune with nature all the time. That's why he sleeps outside most of the time. He carries a backpack on his back, a tent, everywhere he goes. He was in Cincinnati in the forest, camping out in his tent. So our job is to learn from these people. And Mama AZ, thank you. Every partner that I've had, my son's father, and every partner I've had, they've been teachers for me. At first I felt like, oh, nobody's listening to me. I'm not being influenced. Oh boy. And I had such low self-esteem. And now I realize you're a teacher or a student throughout your life. We need to have peace about recognizing when we're one or the other. Are you a teacher this season, or are you a student? I'm always listening. That's why lovely Thomas just taught me something about the therapy that we can use for high blood pressure. And she says, I use the tappy. Yes, it's part of the process of managing this temple without the help of all these big pharma corporations who are removing the light from us when we do that. Every pill, every drug will remove some of the light that will come out when you do the tapping, when you do the EMDR, when you do the meditation. Meditate, not medicate. That's what brings in back the light that Revelation is talking about. And that's what brings the harmony of the trumpets and the flute and all that Revelation talks about. The music sounds, the light all return when you use non-invasive methods to balance this body. And that's mostly meditation with your breath. So as we breathe out, thank you. LA, did you have any final words you want to share? I think he's still there.
No, I'm good.
Thank you so much for sharing with us tonight. You have a good evening and a good week. And I am excited to continue in my Esther mode. I'm in Esther mode. This week, it will be 6 weeks in Esther. The scripture said it took a whole year for Esther to be presented to the king. So I'm kind of growing in patience, waiting for my king. I don't want anything less at this point in my life. So Esther, try myrrh oil is amazing. Frankincense and myrrh, really amazing oils that might keep your blood pressure down too. That's another thing, essential oils, along with what lovely Thomas suggests, essential oils and breath work. You can manage it, but just be careful about big pharma and their solutions. Thank you all for joining me, and everybody have a good evening. All my yogi friends out there, Namaste and Sat Nam. Aho to all my Native American indigenous brothers and sisters, and Ashe O to all my African warriors out there. We love you. I love you. I love you. And we're all one big family. There's no separation. We are one. Mwah. Shalom. And we'll see you on Wednesday evening. I have a special guest, Naima Latif, has agreed to join me. And we're going to talk about the recent passing of Khadija Farrakhan. Amazing, phenomenal woman who just passed at the age of 90, I believe. She had 9 children, too. So that 9 is going to speak to us a lot on Wednesday. Join us 7 o'clock Wednesday to understand what it takes to be a truly phenomenal woman like Khadija Farrakhan, that was married for 73 years. Oh, I can't wait to talk about it. I'm going to have some videos and more, but most of us will never accomplish that. But how did she even do that, married to such a controversial figure? Wednesday night, we're going to talk about it. Mwah. Love you all. Everybody have a good week.
Probably a Calat noon. I kick the kaboom to a part to sad. I knew get a horse, we can pop out that ass. I knew I went for Papa lag. I knew I got but you I could get that. I knew could do on the culture that ain't yet. I knew could do la mother was part of that. I do be Papa that to get a horse. I knew for Nas that super do I got no horse. The cook could put it in hot. Yeah, the cook could put it in hot. Then I was in this order, could do the cook was cut on in her. The cook kabura in her, the cook kabuch in her. And no, I did the cow pass.